everyone, it's Libby from Meister Tarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people, that's W-O-R-I-M-I, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides and the universal energies. And huge thanks for all your comments yesterday that you put on my video in regards to my message from Mum. Absolutely appreciated and very, very true. What I think that I'm going to miss, and I have missed, but it hasn't really hit me fully yet, is my mum and I used to message chat each other practically every day. And I think when I finally get time to stop, it's going to hit home of having a thought and not having an earthly mother to share it with. She's still here, I can still share it with her, but there won't be that back and forth banter. And I think that's when things are going to hit me hard. So deep breath, and it's all part of the process. Okay, if you're in Victoria, Australia, please, 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 please take care. Thousands are being evacuated with the bushfires in the state at the moment. I believe Melbourne, where the Australian Open, the tennis open, is being played, they're expecting to reach 45 degrees today, 113 in the Fahrenheit scale. I suspect a lot of the outer court matches will be postponed till night time. Hopefully, I'm assuming they've got lighting on them. The inner courts, the ones where the champions like Djokovic, etc., play, have roofs over them and can be air conditioned. But please, 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 if you're in Victoria, stay safe and heed the warnings, check on your neighbours, look after your pets, bring your pets in and keep them well hydrated. And also, probably time for the regular announcement that just be aware that on a lot of social media, research has shown that about 70% of posts are either bots or paid trolls. Not so prevalent on YouTube, but just note that a lot of comments on YouTube, if it's not a monitored comment section, my comment section gets monitored and these sorts of comments get removed fairly promptly. I'm talking about the news channels, and you sort of go, oh my goodness, the comments, they're just horrific. A lot of them won't be from within the state itself where the news is being shared, or there'll be bots or there'll be trolls, etc. So just be aware. If you're pushing back on social media, make sure you always stick to facts. Don't get emotional. If that's something you can do, yes, absolutely push back. Stick to facts, and what you find is the trolls very quickly devolve into personal attacks, which means you've got them and it's time to just step back and let them go. Speaking of social media, came across my feed this morning that allegedly, I haven't been able to verify this, but the photograph that was taken of Alex Pretty's pew pew, now I do apologise for calling it that, it's just the YouTube censors, was actually not of Alex's. It was a photograph that apparently appeared on Reddit about 5 days earlier. So yeah, more gaslighting, more lying with impunity, and it's just absolutely does my head in. Interestingly enough, again, across my social media feed came an article about a psychiatrist that had dealt with the Nuremberg criminals in the trials, trying to find out what was, why were these people evil? And the only factor they had in common was a lack of empathy. So empathy being the ability to understand the feelings of others. Does not excuse what's going on, absolutely does not excuse. I mean, if you're an ICE agent and you turn up somewhere with a gas mask on, it means you have full intention to be using all these horrible chemical weapons. Doesn't excuse it at all, but it does help understand where they're coming from. Okay, so on that note, one other thing that crossed my feed, actually, one of you guys mentioned it. apparently, allegedly, a couple of months ago, Usha and Shady were overheard in a restaurant having an argument where apparently she had said, I didn't sign up for this, shortly after her wedding ring was missing, and she looked quite depressed, dishevelled, however you like to put it. And then all of a sudden, ta-da, she's supposedly pregnant, or as we call in Australia, up the duff. Now, I was having a chat to my guides about this last night, as one does in the shower, and I got that because there's a lot of pushback against Usha, and I can understand that completely. But what I got from my guides was that she had been threatened to comply, to go along with whatever plan this was, um, threatened to be abandoned. Like if she walked out, said, no, I'm not doing this, she would be abandoned, her security would be removed, and her kids would basically be thrown to the MAGA wolves for daring to stand up to her evangelical white husband, being of a different faith and of color, supposed colour. For soiling their man, actually, is what my guide said. Thrown to the white supremacists for soiling their man. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So it wasn't just Usha that I was getting, it was her kids as well that had been threatened. So I'm just going to let that lie and let's see how it plays out. But, okay, where was I going? Speaking of the frozen ones, especially in Minnesota. Now there was a headline that came out saying that the felon had ordered the withdrawal. No, he hasn't. He's removed Bovino, absolute thug of the first degree, and replacing him with Homan, who was probably no better. So no, not withdrawing out of Minnesota. But what I want to actually have a look at is a few of you leapt on about the funding of the Frozen Ones, the ICE, and I'm going to use the Golden Universal Tarot for this because it is a funding question, and I'm going to have a look at this from a slightly different point of view. Oh, as I split the deck, we've got the Sun, full exposure, something being revealed, and then we've got the lying, stealing, cheating, um, making out like a bandit type thing. Stealing of the truth is going to be fully exposed, and it is. I mean, the video evidence is just horrific, both with Renee and with Alex. And it's time to get into I saw this, some pretty good trouble. Yep, the protests have been fab, just absolutely what is needed, but please stay safe and hold the line. But the reason I'm using this is the Congress House passed a bill, and there was a lot of disgust about it, and I can completely understand that because it included funding for ICE. Now, we have to look a bit deeper than that because the actual bill was a package, and I have spoken about this before, that in the future the bills that pass Congress will not allow to have funny things hanging on them, because often they'll do especially the GOP are very good at this. They'll present a bill for like childcare funding or something. I'm just making, SNAP funding or something like that. But they'll hang off it something really horrendous. So the choice then is for do they pass the SNAP funding with this thing hanging off it, or do they not pass it and therefore the SNAP funding doesn't go through? Now, the reason I'm saying that is the the package was passed by the House. I think there was 7 Democrats that voted to pass it as well, or something along those lines, or 7 that didn't vote, whatever. Anyhow, it passed. It passed the House. It's gone to the Senate. Sorry, I've got an itchy eye there. Must be a little bit of an allergy happening. A lot of things flowering at the moment. The bill was a 1.3 trillion with a T dollar federal government spending package that included defense, health, transport, etc., etc. So it wasn't just a bill for the funding for the thugs. And that's why it passed. But it's gone to the Senate. Now, the Senate needs to pass at 60, minimum of 60, which means there must be Dems that vote for this bill in the Senate. The deadline is Friday for it to pass. If it doesn't pass, there will be quite significant government operational shutdowns occur because, as I said, this bill is not just for the thugs. The GOP is refusing to separate off the ICE funding from the rest of the bill. So I want to have a look to see whether this bill is going to pass. Now, we do have the mature diplomatic negotiator, but we're faced with this disappointment and loss, having to compromise and face loss for potentially the greater. But I want to have a look. Will this bill, 1.3 trillion government spending bill, will it pass the Senate? The deadline is Friday. Will it pass the Senate? Because I keep seeing shutdown now. I was really surprised that Congress came back because I kept thinking Micah would keep them away. Okay. They sort of tried to leap out, but if they're meant to, they'll come back to the top. Will this bill pass? Sorry about my big long waffle there. Okay, will this bill pass? Come down, let's have a look. Yes, there's a Bindi dog having a snooze there. Okay. Right, Three of Cups, circles of support, celebration. I suspect they think they have the numbers. Let's see where it goes. Challenged by rejection. The fourth cup being rejected. So you've got the 3 cups here being accepted, but the fourth being rejected. I am wondering in regards to this is they think they've got the numbers, but the challenges they don't, because they need to get 60 out of the 100 to vote for it. See where it goes. Okay, some of these cards, I've done it again, probably put them upside down, but okay, if you're going to insist I read upside down, I'll read upside down. Oh dear, okay. The energy that they're stewing in is this is normally packing up the truth and moving forward, moving out of troubled waters, but upside down is an inability to move it forward. The energy that they're stewing in is the inability to move it forward. You've got in the past, again, another upside down. Boy, oh boy, this is obviously my lesson for this year is to learn to read upside down. This is normally guardrails holding and beaten up, bruised, and still defending and holding the ground. This is the guardrails not holding. So there is a demand coming out that from the Dems in the Senate that there be guardrails put in place because the guardrails have failed. So this is in the past. The guardrails have failed. And crowning this reading, another upside down card is the judgment moment. A call to, normally again up the right way, it's call to arms, collective awakening, but upside down, it's being stymied is the word I'm getting. The movement forward of this bill is going to be stymied as there is not this how do I put it? Not this wake-up call of those in the house. Okay, let's see where it goes. Again, upside down. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. We've got the Hermit upside down. Again, an inability. This is the immediate future. An inability to find to take the step, to start on the path forward. It's about isolation. Yeah, okay. These are all about not moving forward. The Knight of Pentacles, again, usually about slow and steady progress forward, funding, etc. No movement forward. I don't think this is going to get through. And be careful what you wish for, not getting what they wish. Okay, hopes and fears. We've got the infighting, the throwing under the bus, the back and forth. We've got, again, the Chariot, unable to move forward. The Knight of Wands, again, messaging about not moving forward. Inflammatory messaging about not able to move forward. And then we have the Ten of Cups. This is my card for the voter. This is a card about a completion, about a unity of diversity. So, and then we have the Emperor, the Delusion, and the Wheel of Fortune turning. So now we're starting to get them upright. So I don't think this is going to get through. I don't think the spill is going to get through, and I think the Emperor is under some sort of false illusion, and the wheel is going to turn. Karma coming, poor choices, and the wheel is turning. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Working across the aisle. So on the bottom, the underlying energy working across the aisle. It's in regards to the money. It's a card of wealth. And then we have the lawmakers. The lawmakers working together to bring some sort of announcement. You've got the orange twerp, you've got Homeland Security, you've got legal action, you've got that King of Cups. This is actually going to be a lot bigger than what we think it is. That was my, the King of Cups. Who did we decide that was? Mark Kelly. Strategy, action, legal action, Mark Kelly. Contracts and agreements are at an end. Okay, well that's really interesting because the only upside down ones were, if I look through my deck, were the ones that came out there. Yeah, I don't think this bill's going to get through. It's not going to get through in its current form. And it's going to, okay, so it's going to force a hand, I suspect, of, okay, so where's this going to go? So I don't think the bill's going to get through the Senate in its current form. Reduced funding there. Reduced funding to these militant thugs is what I'm getting. I don't think it's going to get through the Senate. So will there be a government shutdown? Will there be a government shutdown? Operational government shutdown. Heartbreak, loss, betrayal, feeling of treason, despair. I mean, you've got the wealthy at the bottom there, absolutely aghast. The swords through the heart. They're challenged by the Emperor himself. The Emperor is losing his power. You've got this smoke and mirrors and delusion card again at the bottom. The poor choices, the choices based on greed, the energy that it's stewing in at the moment. Will there be a shutdown? strategy and action being taken in the past. Same cards, even though I poker shuffled them back in and they've come to the top. So this is, again, this is expounding on the reading that I did before. You've got this unbalanced relationship here that is being exposed. You can see that that's just a fly. Will there be a shutdown? Very possibly will be with this Two of Pentacles. This is about juggling choices that need to be made with the finances, etc. And out in the cold. Five of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles. Banished out in the cold. I think there might be. Internally, actions having consequences with the Justice card. You've got hopes and fears. You've got the diplomat, the negotiator, and again, it's my Mark Kelly card. The outcome, the devil. The devil, planning, and the star. The narcissistic. But then we've got the falling star with the Four of Swords. The falling star, Six of Cups, the naivety. You've got government there with the Hierophant, the oligarchs, unexpected messaging, strength, and exposure. Nightmare situation for the uber wealthy. Ten of Pentacles bringing an end to it. I honestly, I think there's going to be a government shutdown. Okay, so just again, be prepared for it. Be prepared. We've got the Two of Swords. It's a decision that needs to be made about which way to go, but you've got the Tower and the big stick. You've got the Empress card, which can be Russia, but it can also, like, there might be some huge messaging coming out regarding Russia. Or it could be this is the new plan in regards to prosperity and growth, because we've got the Ten of Swords there. Downfall, ending of prosperity and growth. Speaking of which, Bitcoin's fallen, but I'm sure somebody's making some money out of it. Got a heads up early, sold early, buying back cheap, price go up again. You know how this regime works. So yeah, just be prepared. I think the Senate's not going to put this through. So that being said, is the orange twerp going to issue some sort of decree about funding ICE? Is the orange twerp going to issue some sort of royal decree, as he did? I warned about this. My guides talked about this in 2024, that if he was in, it would be ruled by decree. But let's have a look. Will he sign? Okay, they're wanting me to actually ask, will ICE, if this funding doesn't go through, will ICE be somehow privately funded? I'm seeing the $500 million in the felon's Qatar bank account. Will it somehow be privately funded? Yet the oligarchs. Betrayal, treason, an offer being made. The oligarchs feeling betrayed, but there will be some sort of offer that they cannot refuse, is what I'm getting there. Five of Pentacles, out in the cold, left out in the cold. Ice, freezing, left out in the cold. Rejection of the offer, some sort of plan, inflammatory plan, Middle East. The money being offered up. A decision needs to be made. And we've got the World card, an end of an era. I'm going to say yes is what I'm feeling, but it's not going to be the oligarchs that do it. I think it's going to come from, boy, oh boy, overseas. Really? Okay, let's have a look. Funding for ICE, is it going to come from another country? Is the funding from ICE going to come from an overseas source? Dark money and the packing up of the truth and stealing away and the truth. Dark money. Is the private funding of ICE going to come from an overseas source? Boy, where my guides take me. Okay, here's the ICE thugs charging in. Rash, challenged by Taming of the Beast. Also trying to get the orange twerp. He's going to blab it. Okay, can't argue. Trying to keep the orange twerp quiet. The challenge is going to keep the orange twerp quiet. I think it is. Got the Queen of Swords. The energy that it's stewing in at the moment is a new strategy, internal strategizing. In the past, we've got actions having consequences, the Justice card, but also legal action. So in the past, I mean, this regime does not follow the law. There's no point in saying, but the law says or the Constitution says. They don't care. Finding itself fully exposed, but it's also the biggest yes card in the deck. We've got 1, 2, 3 major arcana and 2 court cards, all yes cards. The World, end of an era, but also the world stage as the orange twerp eyes off the bald eagle up there. Externally, and a plan being, again, strategy plan. Plan being implemented internally. Wake up call, call to arms. There's my Russia card and the hopes and fears, but the inability to harvest. The 7 of Pentacles, the 7 of Swords, the stealing. The be careful what you wish for with the smug merchant. About the money that is offered and then the walking away. 4 choices and delusion. This is my money laundering card, and then the Wheel of Fortune, and it just becomes too much. Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I think that there's every intention of privately funding coming from an overseas source, but the orange twerp is going to blab it or blab something about it, and then that overseas source are going to go, oh, hang on, we got, it wasn't us. That sort of reaction. So, yeah, I do. Oh, boy, boy, boy. Oh, it just, everything just appalls me about this. So, yeah, that's what I think. I think the Senate won't pass it. I think there will be attempt to privately fund ICE using an overseas source of funding. The orange twerp's going to blab about it, and that overseas source is then going to pull out. Oh, boy, boy. And yes, I do suspect what I'm getting with the energy of today is that there will be a government shutdown. Deep breath. Every day is a day closer. Love to you all.